our previous videos, we've been talking about our data manipulation languages, and we've been dealing with the select statement. We are still in the data manipulation language, but I'd like to introduce to you what we call aggregate functions today. Basically, these are mathematical functions that are used on tables, but usually operates on one particular column and various rows. We're going to stick to the core five of these aggregate functions, which are the count function, the sum function, the minimum and maximum function, and also the average function. The count function basically counts the number of non-null values in a field, and as you know, presents it in a single value form, whilst the sum adds up all non-null values and presents it in a single value form. Minimum and maximum, by its name, returns the greatest or the lowest value based on which one you are using at the point in time. And the average also takes into consideration the non-null values in a particular column and calculates the average for that. And so without talking much, I'll just move straight to Workbench and then show you how these syntaxes work. But today I will be concentrating only on the count function, so that in our next videos I can bring to you there are others on the sum, the maximum, and the minimum, and then the average. So let's use our hypothetical funny fancy ink. Sorry. So control enter. So that the funny fancy ink is in use now. Now, for instance, if we want to know the number of employees in this particular company, first, let's just look out for the number of entities we have in our employees table, so that when we do the counting, we can actually reconcile it with the with that number too. So let's say our normal select, oh sorry, our normal select everything from employees. Oh, what's this? Sorry. So we control and enter. Now, so it's fetch the employees table for us, and we can find that there is a total of 300,024 employees in this particular company. Now, count can give us this 300,024 um, 300,024 employees as a single value, and this is how it works. So the syntax is like that. I'm sorry. So I'm going to copy this and paste. So I say select count everything. So I'm counting everything from employees. When I do it this way, it's going to work. It's going to work. Let me clean it up first. And I say control enter. So I'm having 300,024. But when we look at this table, let me bring the table back. When we look at this table, you see that there is an employee number here, where we can see that this employee number in database terms is a primary key. So for best practices, it is most ideal for you to query on that particular column when you want to actually say get the number of employees in a particular database or in a particular table or in a particular data set. So by so doing, what the syntax is going to be is you're going to select count from the emp number. You're counting the emp number from the employees database, and that should also give us 300,024, and we are good. This is how count works. Now let's take another example, but before we do that, okay, let's do the example first, and we move to the next thing. We can say we want to find the number of employees who take a salary of, say, 80,000. Yeah, so we're going to copy and paste. We say select count everything from, this time around, since I'm talking about salaries, I'm going to consider this table rather, not the employees table that I have here. So from salaries, where salary is equal to 80,000. Let me clean it up. So this is the syntax. See, so I have 14 people who are taking salaries that it's up to 80,000. I can confirm this by also bringing out it in a tabular form by saying as we already know, I'll say I'll copy this. So I'll select, this time around I'm not using the count because I want a table. So I say select everything from salaries, where salary is equal to 80,000, then I control enter. So what do we see here? See that we have 14 rows, which indicates that indeed 14 people and up to 80,000 in this particular company. Now let's move on with our last thing that we want to do about this count function. In one of our previous videos, I introduced a keyword called distinct. Distinct this time around also moves with count, but the only difference is the positioning of distinct this time. Now from our, let me go back from this particular this particular query here, what we found out is that there is a place for a column for first name and last name. Now if I say I'm selecting first name of employees, where bringing in my where clause, where my first name is equal to, say, Mark. When I do this query, you see that I have about 230 people called Mark in this company. So if I want to, find the number of distinct first names in this particular company, I can use count and merge it with distinct, and then it brings out the number of first names that are shared amongst the 300,024 people in this particular company. And this is how the syntax will be like. So I'm going to say select count. This time around, distinct is going to fall into the parentheses. See? Distinct first name from employees. Sorry. Terminator. Clean up. So this is how it's going to work. And then control enter. I have 1,275 people. I mean 1,275 distinct first name shared amongst the 300,024 people in this company. So this is how handy count as a function comes in, and you can use it during your queries, and it's going to help. For a discount, I mean for a bonus, I would like to infuse one tip into this particular video, and that is what we call aliases. It's a different topic, but I'm infusing it into this video as a bonus. Aliases are basically what we can call renaming. Now, for instance, if your boss asks you to find a distinct first names in your company or in the HR department or something, and you do the query and you get a table like this, and you see that the heading says count distinct first name. This doesn't look so professional. You see, so you can rename this particular header here by using what we call aliases. And in SQL terms, all you need to do is we just place, you say place an AS here, AS. That means you are renaming this count distinct first name that you find here as what? As distinct, or as, say, okay, let's use the same thing as distinct. It's not so ideal to use keywords in your headers. Okay. Unique is also a keyword. Oh, yeah, it is. All right, so I'll use it with an underscore. So what we can say is that as name count. See, so when we do this, control enter, now this is more presentable than the former, and I believe you agree with me. So until we meet again, I'll end this video here, but until we meet again, and see you on the flip side.